Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. Imagine you could get paid, like just for what you already know,
Mm,
not for, making something or selling something, but just sharing your thoughts,
yeah.
your experience.
Yeah, it does sound a bit strange when you put it like that, doesn't it? Almost too good to be true.
Right.
But that's basically the world we're looking at today with all this material you've gathered. It's this, well, kind of hidden industry. They call them expert networks.
Expert networks.
Okay.
Think of it like a specialized marketplace,
Sure.
but the product, it's your experience,
Mm.
what you know.
Okay, a marketplace for brains. So who's shopping there? Who needs that kind of ground level insight?
Well, the main users tend to be, big consulting firms, hedge funds, large corporations too. They've
Fine.
got tons of data, obviously, but sometimes data only tells you so much. They hit a wall.
They need the story behind the numbers. Exactly. They need the practical stuff, the challenges, the things that don't really show up on a spreadsheet. They want it straight from people who've actually been there, done that job, worked in that niche.
Okay, makes sense. So how do you connect with them? Is there like an agent involved or something?
No, no agent needed, actually. The sources we have point to specific online platforms, companies like GLG, AlphaSites, GuidePoint. Those are some of the big names.
Right.
You basically just sign up, fill out a profile, your work history, skills, what you know really well.
And the platform does the matching?
Yeah, they connect you with clients who are looking for someone with precisely your kind of background.
Interesting. And then what, were you signing up for like a massive consulting gig?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting, maybe a bit counterintuitive. It's usually not a big project.
Wow.
Most often it's short calls, like 30 minutes, maybe an hour tops. You hop on a call, video, or phone, and you just answer their questions.
Based on your experience.
Exactly. No PowerPoints, no deliverables to prep. It's just a conversation.
A conversation
Ugh.
that they actually pay you for, just for talking about stuff you already know.
That's the core idea. And the pay. The sources suggest it can be pretty substantial.
Like how substantial are we talking?
Well, potentially, $200, $500, sometimes even $1,000 an hour for these calls.
Wow. Okay, an hour.
Yeah.
That's a serious rate. So does that mean you have to be like a CEO or have a PhD, some big fancy title?
That's a really key point, and the material clarifies this well. The definition of expert here is much broader than you might think.
Oh.
It's not really about the title on your business card. It's about specific lived experience.
Yeah, give me an example.
Okay, so the sources mention things like maybe a factory manager who really gets the production flow, knows the bottlenecks, or a nurse with years of hands-on hospital experience.
Right, practical knowledge.
Or even, say, a junior analyst who knows the ins and outs of some specific banking software that outsiders just wouldn't understand. It's that unique work history. That's
Yeah.
the value.
So it really is like ethically renting out your brain for an hour.
That's a great way to put it, yeah. You're leveraging all that knowledge you built up, but without needing to, build a website or market yourself constantly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But still, for some people listening, this might just sound a bit suspicious. Like, how could this exist and not be common knowledge?
I get that. It can feel a bit hidden. But honestly, these networks, they've been around for, well, over 20 years.
2 decades, really?
Yeah. I think the reason they're not household names is they mostly serve the finance and consulting worlds, places where paying for targeted insights is just standard practice.
Ah, okay. So just didn't really filter out much beyond those industries until more recently.
Exactly.
So let's bring it back to the listener. What does all this mean for you listening right now?
Well, it means that the practical stuff you do every day, the processes you get, the software you use, the industry challenges you've actually dealt with,
Yeah.
that knowledge isn't just useful for your boss or your company. It could actually be a valuable asset in its own right.
You don't necessarily need to quit your job or become some kind of online influencer.
Right.
Your existing know-how might already have monetary value just sitting there.
And think about the bigger picture, too. With AI and automation becoming so prevalent,
Yeah.
real nuanced human insight, the kind you only get from actually doing something, that's arguably becoming rarer and maybe even more valuable. It provides the context AI often lacks.
That's a great point. The human element is becoming premium, which brings us back to the value you possess.
Mm-hmm.
So here's maybe something to mull over after this deep dive. Really think about your career path. What industries have you been in? What specific tools or processes do you know inside out?
What problems have you solved that others might be struggling with right now?
Exactly. What unique perspective, what insight do you have that someone else, some company, might actually be willing to pay for.